Yes, sir. I've started streaming.
You started streaming. I can start my presentation.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, welcome students. So, welcome everyone to the uh, fast track revision session for your strategic management CA intermediate. So, my name is Sanjay Kadel. I will be taking you through this particular session of fast track revision and recall for your strategic management subject. So, to begin with, let us ensure that when we are approaching this particular subject, we have to approach the subject in the manner of a business consultant or a businessman. Only then all these concepts, all these uh, models and other techniques which has been proposed by various authors in this strategic management topic will be understandable and relatable, and only then we'll be able to appreciate and easily remember. So in this backdrop, let me start with your chapter number 1. So to clarify, we will be going through 8 chapters today in this revision session. So 8 chapters are all in a particular logical flow as per your intermediate syllabus. So we'll be starting with chapter number 1. So as you can see, the chapter number 1 is about introduction to strategic management. Okay. So firstly, the concept which we have to understand is business policy as a discipline. Now, when we hear this word discipline, it is generally associated with either behavior or punctuality or your systems which you have in place, your self regulation. But this is not the discipline which we are talking about here. Here, the discipline word means that a formal body of knowledge. For example, you have accountancy. Accountancy as a art has been practiced for so many years and so many generations. Only in recent past, we can say maybe 150 years or 200 years, this accountancy uh, area has been formalized as a body of education and body of knowledge, and we are all studying the subject. In the similar way, economics is also there. Though economics is practiced in reality, slowly and gradually, this also became a formal subject which we all study now, and we gain a lot of insights into the particular uh, area of knowledge. Similarly, strategic management. Similarly, business policy. So, when we talk about strategic management, it is covered under a bigger, wider concept of business policy. And this business policy, over the years, based on the writings of many authors, it has become a discipline, meaning a formal body of knowledge. So, this is what is the meaning of this particular statement when we say business policy as a discipline. Now, what is business policy? It is defined as the functions and responsibilities of senior management, the crucial problems that affect success in total enterprise, the decisions that determine the direction of the organization and shape its future. If you observe this definition, it is talking about senior management functions and responsibilities. Why is it so? Because it is the senior management which actually shapes and drives the particular organization towards a particular direction and in a particular speed. The other layers of management may not have such a big contribution into the direction and the speed at which it is growing. Maybe they will be executing the policies which are being made at the senior level. So business policy as a concept by default means a concept which is related to senior management. So the key word here is senior management. The next important keyword here is crucial problems. So crucial problems. It is not that everyday problems or every trivial activities will be taken care by the senior management. No, crucial problems. That those problems which will affect the success in the total enterprise. Now, what is the meaning of total enterprise here? Total enterprise means the entire enterprise, entire organization, entire company. So, not a particular department or not a particular set of activities, entire organization. So, when we do a study of these things, we call it as a business policy. So, as a subject of strategic management, it comes under the business policy subject, business policy discipline. Now, having seen the context of our subject that it comes under business policy, let us also break down the particular terminology of strategic management. If you see the word strategic management, it contains an important word called as management. Now, what is management? We would have heard this word in a very in many situations in very day-to-day life. We would have heard this word and term. We have our own perceptions about this terminology. See, basically, when you even organize a particular birthday function, even at your home, you do a lot of activities along with your family and friends or your relatives, and you organize that particular birthday party, isn't it? So, if you recall such experience, you would have seen that a lot of you people coordinated with each other. You had a particular common goal that you wanted to celebrate the birthday function in a very grand manner, in a very joyous, fun-filled manner. So you all did a lot of activities, integrated your roles, and then you achieved your goal. So, if you see the definition of this particular word management, it means integrated set of functions and processes designed to initiate and unify group effort in a meaningful manner directed towards pursuing certain goals. So, are we able to relate to the example what I gave you just now? It is a very simple example which I gave, which we can relate even to our daily life. Something like organizing a birthday function. Just put a parallel of this activity or this set of activities in a business scenario. There also similar things only happen. So there are an integrated set of functions and processes, various activities, various functions, various systems, various processes, which are designed in such a way that you can initiate and unify the group effort. An organization consists of more than one person. So these people, when they join together and do efforts, if it is unified in a meaningful manner for achieving certain goals of the organization, certain objectives of the organization, then we call that integrated set of activities as management. So to repeat, management refers to integrated set of functions and processes designed to initiate and unify group effort in a meaningful manner directed towards pursuing certain goals. Now, you may ask a question, what are the goals of the organization? See, basic objectives of any organization will be five objectives. It will be survival, it will be stability, it will be growth, it will be efficiency, and last but not the least, it will also be profitability. Many times we think profit is the only motive of an organization. No. First they want to survive. Then they want to become stable. Then they want to grow. They also want to achieve efficiency in their activities. And then also they all incidentally they also want to make sufficient and attractive profits. There is a author of this particular subject. Of course, there are many authors. So one of the popular author is Peter F. Drucker. In his view, management is a function. It is a discipline, a task to be done. And according to him, managers practice this discipline, carry out the functions, and discharge these tasks. So he gives his perspective on the functions of management. So when we started this concept of management, I said we are breaking down strategic management into first management. Now see the other word, strategy. So let us see what is the meaning of strategy. If I ask you what is strategy, in my experience with a lot of students across so many years, the common answer or the common thought which comes to our mind is strategy means planning. Actually, it is not planning, it is game plan. Strategy is a game plan. That means strategy is just not simple planning, it is an intelligent and intellectual activity of planning with some uh, creative, innovative, thoughtful ideas put into it, and then you execute this strategy. It will help you in achieving fantastic results, efficient in an efficient manner, which you never foresee. For example, do you think that people who do business they do business only after reading strategic management or subjects like this? No, they are able to do business even without studying strategic management. But then what is the difference between them and the people who study strategic management or the people businesses which follow strategic management? The difference is in strategy, because normally you may do business without any strategy, but there is a lot of chance that in this dynamic competitive world you may not end up with good profits, or even if you end up with good profits you may not be able to sustain such profits for a long time. What helps is the concept of strategy. It is equal to playing a chess. You can play the game of chess just like that, like a beginner, which where you don't have any further what do you say possible moves in your mind. Vis-a-vis, in comparison to that, you can uh, think of next four moves and alternative moves based on what your opponent is playing, and then if you proceed, you have good chances of winning because you are playing the game with a strategy. So strategy is not a plan, strategy is a game plan. Strategy seeks to relate the goals to the means of achieving them. We can also define strategy as a long range blueprint of an organization's desired image, direction, and destination, what it wants to be, do, and where it wants to go. So, when I say long range blueprint, that means it is a long range, it is like a roadmap in front of the organization which it can follow. According to another author called as William F. Glueck, he says strategy is a unified, comprehensive, and integrated plan designed to assure that the basic objectives of the enterprise are achieved. Again, I'll repeat. According to William F. Glueck, strategy is a unified, comprehensive, and integrated plan designed to assure that the basic objectives of the enterprise are achieved. Can we recall what are the basic objectives of the enterprise? Survival, stability, growth, efficiency, and profitability. So, why do we need strategy? Can't we live without strategy? As I already told you, you can do business without strategy, you can live without strategy. The only problem is you will not be able to unravel the complexity and you will not be able to reduce uncertainty of the environment, which means there is lesser chances of being successful without strategy and more better chances and more efficient chances of becoming successful. So, can strategy be perfect? Can you say my strategy is perfect and someone else's strategy is not good? No. Strategic, you can never say that it is a perfect strategy. There is always a scope of improvement. You can never say that strategy is flawless. Definitely, there will be some practical defects in the strategy, because it is related, strategy is always related to future, right? So definitely there is going to be some differences in the reality compared to what you originally thought. Can you say my strategy is best and other person's strategy is not best? No. You cannot never say it is optimal. It is a pragmatic approach. What is the meaning of pragmatic? The meaning of pragmatic is practical. It is a practical approach. It is not that you sit in one particular AC room inside your room and on a table you put out a strategy. No. You need to have good experience or knowledge of the practicalities, and then if you make a strategy, if you design a strategy, it will be better. It is the art of possible. So without strategy, the organization is like a ship without a rudder. This is told by another author called as Joel Ross and Michael Cami. Again, Peter Drucker has his opinion on strategic management and this particular concept. He says strategic management is not a box of tricks or a bundle of techniques. It is analytical thinking and commitment of resources to action. So first we saw management, then we saw strategy. Now we will see what is strategic management. So mind you, strategy and strategic are two different words. Strategy we just now discussed, long range blueprint of an organization's uh, future direction, where it wants to be go. Strategy is a game plan, etc. We told. But when we say strategic management, it means the word strategic here means something critical, something important, something on a top level, on a senior level. So strategy is different, strategic is different. So now we are talking about strategic management. That means very important senior level management, or crucial concept of management for an organization. So the word strategic will come in further discussions also. Strategic will mean critical, important, crucial. So let us see what is the strategic management. What is the meaning of this? Because we are studying this subject and a lot of concepts under this, let us see what it is. The term strategic management refers to the managerial process of certain activities. The term strategic management refers to the managerial process of certain activities. What are those activities? Number one, forming a strategic vision. So, when you say forming a strategic vision, first of all, let us understand what is the meaning of vision. If you ask in simple terms, what is the meaning of vision? Please note, vision means desired future image. I will repeat, vision means desired future image. Now, you can talk about a vision of a company, so desired future image of the company. You can talk about vision of an organization or vision of a country or vision of a particular person. Everywhere you can use this keyword or key phrase, that is desired future image. So first step in strategic management process is to form a strategic vision. Without that, no strategic management is possible. So first of all, you decide for your company, for your organization, for yourself, what is the desired future image you want. Once you have decided that, then you set objectives, because vision is not achieved over a particular weekend or particular in a single night. You will not achieve strategic vision. It will be achieved over the years and it will evolve. So to ensure that we are on the right track, you should set the objectives to ensure that you are on the right track, so that you can compare the milestones, etc. So, forming a strategic vision, setting objectives, and third, crafting strategy. If you observe here, it is not said making a strategy, it is said crafting a strategy. That means what? As I told earlier, It is an innovative, intellectual, and thoughtful process of crafting a strategy. So after that, once you craft the strategy, once you design the strategy, the next step is to implement and execute the strategy. So while implementing and executing, definitely you will face some practical issues. Those practical issues, when you come across, you will have to exercise control. Control, when we say, it means corrective adjustments. Corrective adjustments related to your execution or your implementation activity. And sometimes, if you are not able to get results out of your implementation and execution, maybe the strategy which you crafted is flawed. So you may have to correct your strategy. So sometimes, rarely, your objectives may be flawed. Maybe you have, set some very high level objectives which is unrealistic. You may have to rebalance your objectives, and very rarely, in fact, it is very impractical that you may have to change your vision. So control has to be exercised. In effect, the term strategic management refers to the managerial process of number one, forming a strategic vision, number two, setting objectives, number three, crafting a strategy, number four, implementing and executing the strategy, and number five, exercising, carrying out control. What are the strategic levels in an organization? See, in an organization, in a typical large organization, you will have head office or the group company or the corporate office, and under that you will have some business divisions. This is an example in front of you where we are taking in this company one business division as an aircraft business division. Then you may have another business division, for example sake, electrical appliances division. Another example, financial services business division. So in this particular company, the top senior management has decided to divide the company into three business divisions: aircraft business division, electrical appliances business division, and financial services business division. Under each of these divisions, you will have different functions. So different functions may relate to manufacturing, it can relate to human resources, it can relate to purchasing, it can relate to marketing, it can relate to sales and customer care, or it can relate to some other functions also. Similarly, the other business division will also have its own set of functions. Say, for example, again, manufacturing division for electrical appliances, human resource department, purchasing, marketing, sales and customer care. Financial services business division may have its own set of functions. So if you see here in this large organization, we have we can observe three levels of the organization. The three levels are: first level is corporate level, first level is corporate level, second level is business level, where at this level you have divided the company into different businesses, and then finally you have functional level, where based on the functions, based on the activities which the employees carry out, you have grouped them into different functions. So the third level is functional level. Each of these three levels are typically observed in organizations: corporate level, business level, functional level. If you take any small organization, you may not find three levels. Maybe you will find only two levels. So this is typical of the scale of organization. The bigger the organization, better you will find, or you will be able to observe these three levels. Now, what is the agenda with these three levels? Why are we segregating like this, or why are we analyzing these three levels in this manner? The reason is each of these levels have their own characteristics of decision making, own characteristics of activities which they carry out, the type of people which are involved in these levels. vary. For example, corporate level, you will have designations like, uh, directors, managing director, chairman, CEO, CFO. These are the designations you will find. And when these are the designations you will find, they'll be having some higher risk taking abilities. Their decisions will have far reaching impact. So all these things are going to happen at the corporate level. Whereas at the business level, you will have designations like business managers. For example, in front of you, you have aircraft business division. You may have a aircraft business manager or vice president aircraft business division. Something like that designations will be there. Now, business level, if it is there, their main activity is to execute the decisions or the roadmap which has been set by the corporate level, and then they supervise or take care of the functional level. If you see the functional level, you will have designations like marketing manager, HR manager, purchasing manager, or sales manager, customer care executives. These are all functional level designations. Of course, these employees which work under the functional level, they may not be taking any kind of higher risk or any kind of risk at all sometimes. They may be just executing the strategies and the policies which has been already designed or defined by the top levels. So that is the reason these three levels are being analyzed. So if you observe, all the three levels have different characteristics. Okay, so this is about the strategic levels in an organization. Now coming to a concept called as contemporary strategic issues. Now under this section of this chapter, we discuss about how strategic management as a concept, as a way of doing activities or as a way of organizing the management in the organization, how it is being implemented or adapted in the organizations which are not meant for profit. For example, not profit non-profit organizations. In today's world, we say not for profit organizations. So how do they adopt these strategic management concepts? Government organization. See, government organization is strictly governed by a lot of approval process and a lot of bureaucracy is there. So in those kind of organization, in those kind of government organization, how do they adopt strategic management? That is being discussed here. In educational institutions, how do they adopt strategic management? In medical organizations, how do they adopt strategic management? So you'll have to read through these concepts. This is more a practical sample which has been selected uh, just to give you an insight that strategic management generally is being used in business organizations only. But sometimes even not for profit organizations and government organizations also make use of strategic management techniques. So this topic gives you the insight on such things. Now we will go to chapter number 2. So what is the chapter number 2 for? The chapter number 2 stands for dynamics of competitive strategy. This has some interesting concepts in it. So first of all, competitive strategy, why are we discussing it? See, the strategy to be as good or as better than others, that is our strategy. And you know that any organization is existing in the market or in the industry not alone. There are many rival competitors, rival sellers, competitors are there. So in this competitive environment, which has a lot of dynamics involved, When we say dynamics, it means various factors are involved in that. So, how do we analyze the competitive scenario, and how do we uh, create an edge for the organization in which we are working and become successful? That is a very big challenge. So, to understand this, we should start with something called as strategic analysis. We should start with analysis. If you see this screen, this particular person in front of you is actually confused. How to start? From where to start? Is this the right starting point? Now, this is a typical confusion which always arises in any organization's what do you say process, or in their strategy. So, before starting, you have to understand one thing, that you have to start by doing some analysis. Why analysis? Because analysis is the most critical starting point of any strategic thinking. See, if you don't collect a lot of information, if you don't gather a lot of data, if you don't analyze the situation in which you are there, if you don't analyze the situation in which your industry is there, if you don't analyze the economic environment in which your company exists, then that means you are playing in the dark. You are playing in the dark. That should not happen. So even before crafting any strategy, okay, you will have to do solid analysis, because see, we cannot take decisions just based on our judgments or our instincts or our emotions. We have to take our decisions based on solid analysis. So that is the reason we are talking about analysis or strategic analysis as the point of discussion. So how does this strategic analysis work? See, we do analysis external factors, and then we do analysis of internal factors. External analysis covers factors like customers, segments, customers' motivations, and what are the requirements of customers. So we do customer analysis. Then we also do competitor analysis, where we try to identify how the competitors are grouped, what are their performance levels, what are their strategies. We try to analyze the competitors. So we do customer analysis, we do competitor analysis. We also do market analysis. What size the market is there, whether it has a good potential for profitability, what is the cost structure, what are the entry barriers. All these things we have to gather information and analyze. Then do environment analysis, mostly macro. So if you're existing in a country, then you will have political legal environment, you will have economic environment, you will have technological environment. You will have to analyze all these environments. So that is called as environment analysis. So you do customer analysis, competitor analysis, market analysis, and environment analysis. Once you do this analysis, you have done external analysis. What about internal analysis? Internally, you have to analyze your performance over the years. What has been your profitability? What has been your sales trend? How satisfied are your customers? What is the product quality which you offer? All these things you have to analyze internally, and then also do determinants analysis or specific analysis. What is the meaning of this? See, it means some specific factors like past and current strategies. What are the strategic problems you have been facing? You analyze that. What is your company's strengths? Analyze that. What is your company's weaknesses? Find out. When you do this kind of analysis, it is called as determinants analysis. In other words, it is specific analysis for certain factors. So like this, you do external analysis and also internal analysis. what after this? After this, you carry out strategy identification and selection. After this, you identify the strategic alternatives because now you are in a position where you have a lot of information in your hand. You have studied the customer segments, you have studied the competitors, you have studied the market environment in which your organization is operating, everything you have analyzed. Now it is time for strategy identification and selection. So you identify different strategic alternatives. Out of different alternatives, you select the best alternative, best strategy, and then you proceed with it. Once you proceed and implement and execute, you may have to review whether it has gone well or not. What are the issues? Then what corrective adjustments you will have to do. Like this, you do strategic analysis. Then you have something called a situational analysis where you try to analyze the situation in which the company is there. So when you are doing this, you do industry and competitive conditions analysis and also company's own competitive capabilities, your own strengths, resources, and your weaknesses. You find out. In this, the most important factor is industry and competitive conditions. How do we analyze the industry and competitive conditions? So for that, we have a set of issues to be considered. Let us see that now. Methods of industry and competitive analysis. In this topic, what we are going to say is what are the factors that we should analyze for doing industry and competitive analysis. Why we should do industry and competitive analysis? See, the company is existing or it is forming part of an industry. So if you analyze the industry properly, only then you will know for your company what is to be done, what strategies have to be adopted, and whether your company has good potential to stay in the same industry or not. Only then you will be able to find out. So to find out that, you will have to do this process of analyzing the industry and competition. So how to do this? So some of the issues we have to analyze. Number one, you have to analyze the dominant economic features of the industry. Then you have to analyze the nature and strength of competition. To analyze the nature and strength of competition, you can follow a model called as Porter's five forces model. So if you follow Porter's five forces model, you can analyze the nature and strength of competition. Now we may come across analysis of uh, Porter's five forces model later, but we will discuss now itself because we are trying to recall and revise. Let us revise. So when you talk about Porter's five forces model, okay, what are the five forces which Porter is suggesting? See, Porter suggests that to analyze the competition, you should analyze five forces, five factors. What are those five factors? Number one, he says analyze the rival sellers. Who are all the rival sellers in your market? Analyze that. Rival sellers. Then you have new entrants. First one is rival sellers. Second is new entrants. Whether it is easy for the new entrants to come into the market or not. See, in some industries like automobile industry where it is highly capital intensive, new entrance is not easily possible. So analyze that whether it is easy for the new entrants to come into the industry or not, or whether it is easy for the new entrants to come into the industry. Something like software industry. Every now and then you find some new startup. So new entrants force will be very strong and fierce. The competition through new entrants will be strong and fierce. So like this, you analyze rival sellers, new entrants, substitute products, customers bargaining power, and buyers bargaining power. If you analyze these five factors, and each of these factors, if you try to give a rating, saying that from this particular factor, the force is the Competitive force is either strong, dynamic, sorry, not dynamic, strong, moderate, fierce, normal, or weak. If you try to rate like this, then you can come to an overall conclusion whether the overall competitive climate is conducive for your organization to achieve attractive profits or not. So let us recall the five forces: rival sellers, new entrants, then substitute products, then buyers bargaining power, and sellers bargaining power. So if you analyze these five forces on a rating of fierce, strong, moderate, normal, normal and moderate can be same, moderate and then weak. So like this, if you analyze, you are doing the analysis of nature and strength of competition. Triggers of change. So what are the situations or events which are going to cause change in the industry that you have to analyze? Identifying the companies that are in the strongest or weakest positions. It is also called as strategic group mapping. Then you have to analyze the likely strategic moves of the rivals. You have to anticipate what your competitors will do or may do. So accordingly, you also redesign or readjust your strategies. Key factors for competitive success. See, every industry has its own set of key success factors. This is also called as KSF. What is the meaning of KSF? This KSF, that is key success factors, means those factors or those capabilities which are required for that particular industry. For example, if you take a restaurant industry, the key success factor for a restaurant industry is that you have to be hospitable, you have to treat your customers with warmth, you have to take care of them, you have to attend to them promptly. These are all the key success factors. But if you take a key success factor for a boxing sports industry, there the boxer has to be aggressive. The boxer has to be fierce in his attitude and his appearance. So then only he will become successful. He has to be very strong. But such key success factors do not apply to restaurant industry. And at the same time, restaurant industry's key success factors does not apply to the sports industry. So like this, you will have to analyze for your industry what are the KSF. So once you analyze, you'll be able to find out okay whether your company is having those KSF or not. If not, you try to develop such capabilities. Prospects and financial attractiveness of the industry. See, based on the results of above six issues, analysis of six issues, you have to draw conclusion whether relatively this industry is attractive or non-attractive. Now, when I say attractive or non-attractive, it means whether this industry is having the potential for attractive profits or not. It is not having potential for attractive profits. Now, the word attractive or not attractive is a relative term. Why? Because for some persons or some companies with the same set of factors and analysis, they may feel it is attractive because they may want to take risks. But the same factors with same analysis for other people, it may not be so attractive. So it is a relative terminology, a relative concept. Okay. Then let us see the next concept, which is related to competitive advantage and core competencies. See, when we talk about competitive advantage, it means uh, your organization, how it can have an advantage in the competition. What is it that you can do so that you have a competitive advantage over your competitors? It will be coming to your, it will be there in your organization as a competitive advantage only if the value which you are offering, okay, is more than the cost of creating such value. Suppose you are adding many features in your product and you are delivering to the customers at a very unbeatable price. What is the cost of creating such features? What is the cost involved in the research and development of such features? If it is lesser than the value which you are offering and the benefits which you are getting, then yes, you have a competitive advantage. Otherwise, no. So how to achieve this competitive advantage? To achieve this competitive advantage, we have four concepts. By these four concepts, you can achieve competitive advantage. What are these four concepts? Number one, by differentiation and by leadership. By differentiation and cost leadership. These are diverse approaches we will discuss. By value chain analysis, by core competencies, by managing linkages. Let us see differentiation and cost leadership. It is interesting. What is the meaning of differentiation advantage? Differentiation advantage means offering better value for equivalent price when the customers are price insensitive. Again, I will repeat. Differentiation advantage means offering better value for an equivalent price to the customers who are price insensitive. Now, what is the meaning of customers who are price insensitive? It means if you increase the price, the customers will not run away. And at the same time, if you decrease the price, it is not that more customers will come and buy your product. No, the customers here are coming to your company and buying your products because they perceive a differentiation advantage, because they perceive a uniqueness in your products. That is the reason they are buying your products. If you can create such a differentiation in your products, then you can sell the products at a premium pricing and still the customers will buy it and you can make good profits. So this is called as differentiation advantage. Now compare this with low cost advantage. What is the meaning of low cost advantage? If you are able to offer equivalent value at a lower price, then you are said to be following low cost advantage approach. In this approach, the condition is the customers should be price sensitive customers. That means for these customers, price is very important. For these customers, if you increase the price, they will run away. If you decrease the price, they will come in large quantities. That is the meaning of low cost advantage. So you can follow either of these approaches. Either you can follow differentiation advantage or you can follow low cost advantage approach. Some companies also try to follow a combination of these two. They also try to create perceived uniqueness. They also try to reduce the cost of their products production, and then they try to uh, win the competition. Then you can do value chain analysis, and then you can achieve competitive advantage. You can have core competencies and win the competition. What is the meaning of core competencies? Core competencies means distinct skills, intellectual assets, and cultural capabilities. So if you are good at something, some personal, what do you say, caring of your customers, if you are able to give some unique experience to your customers in any manner, okay, then it is a core competency. For example, if you take Apple products, they have core competencies in designing their UI, their user interface. They have uniqueness built in their software capabilities. Their approach in launching their products. That is their core competencies. Other companies may have same products features also, but some core competencies are lacking. So they also try to catch up. Then fourth approach is by managing linkages. When we say managing linkages, what linkages? Here linkages means two types of linkages. One is internal linkages between primary activities and support activities. What do you mean by primary and support activities? Primary activities are those activities which are directly related to your products and services. And support activities are not directly related, but they contribute to your organization. Okay. So if you can link these two activities, and within these activities also you can do linkages, then what happens is there is a collaborative value addition to your customers. If there is a collaborative value addition to your customers by your departments, then definitely you have a competitive advantage. Otherwise, no. External linkages also you can manage. Now coming to one concept called as portfolio analysis. The meaning of portfolio is group, collection. And now we are going to see analysis of a group or collection of products or collection of businesses, and how do we treat those products and businesses in terms of investments, in terms of efforts, and then which products or which businesses we take forward, which businesses we do not take forward. That we can analyze by doing by adopting some models which are proposed in this particular section. So let us see some of the models of portfolio analysis. The first model, model number 1, is talking about BCG growth share matrix. So let me show you the matrix, BCG growth share matrix. On the bottom side, you have relative market share of the products or businesses. On the left side, you have market growth rate. Relative market share and market growth rate can be low or high. Suppose you take the first situation. If there is a product or a business which comes under the category of high market growth rate but having low relative market share, then such products or businesses are called as question marks. Now, once you have the products or businesses which are coming under question marks, what you do with them? What you can do with them is you can adopt build strategies. So build strategies means you try to invest more money into such businesses and products. Why? The reason is they have good potential, market growth rate is high, and currently their market share is less. So they have a very good chance of migrating from low market share to high market share. So from question marks, they can become stars. So once they come under the star category of combination, which is market growth rate is high and relative market share is also high, here you can adopt the strategy of hold. Then you have cash cows, where you adopt the strategy of harvest. And then you have a category of low market growth rate products, and these products are having low market share also. That means these products or businesses do not have a future potential. So this category is called as dogs as per this model. So what you do with this kind of businesses or products? You adopt the strategy of divest. So for question marks, build; for stars, hold; for cash cows, harvest; and for dogs, divest. So that is model number 1 for doing portfolio analysis, which is called as BCG growth share matrix. Then you have model number 2, which is called as Eiger-Ansoff product market growth matrix. Now, using this approach, a company can decide which strategy to adopt for which segment. So here you can see either you are selling your products in an existing market or a new market. What is the meaning of existing market or new market? Market means where you have ready buyers and sellers, or basically markets means where buyers and sellers meet. Existing market means you have ready customers to buy such products, or such products are being sold by other sellers. New markets means products are not being sold in such market, so there may not be ready buyers. Okay. So there is a situation of either existing market or new market. And there is also a situation of either you're selling existing product or a new product. Now, suppose you are selling existing product in an existing market, then you have to follow market penetration strategy. If you are selling existing products in new market, then it is about market development because people are still not ready to buy any products, any new products. So you will have to create the market. So it is called as market development strategy. You may be selling new products in an existing market. For example, very new products like VR headsets, etc. These are very new products where you are selling in an existing market. So what will you do? You will adopt product development strategy. Now, when you are selling new products in new markets, you will have to follow diversification strategy. So we saw 4 situations, and for each situation, what type of strategy to adopt, that also is being suggested in the IGOR of product market growth matrix. Then you have model number 3. Model number 3 talks about ADL matrix. ADL means Arthur D. Little matrix. It is proposed by one author called as Arthur D. Little. Now, many times you know very well that people are not true to their name. So here the name is Little, but this person has proposed a bigger matrix. So here is the matrix which he has suggested. ADL, Arthur D. Little. So according to Arthur D. Little, what he does is on the left side he plots firm's competitive position. On the left side, the author plots firm's competitive position, which can be either dominant, strong, favorable, tenable, or weak. So instead of saying high market share or low market share, he is giving variants, 5 variants. What are the 5 variants? Dominant, strong, favorable, tenable, and weak. Okay. Stage of industry on the top side. What are the stages of industry? Embryonic growth, mature, and aging. It is equal to our product life cycle, where we say introduction, growth, mature, and decline. So instead of saying introduction, he is saying embryonic. So embryonic means taking birth. So it is equal to introduction of a introduction stage of an industry, then growth stage of the industry, then mature stage, and then aging. So in this 5 variants of competitive positions, multiplied with 4 variants of stage of industry, you have 20 combinations of situations. So in these 20 situations, what strategies you can adopt, that is being proposed. If you see in this matrix, in this 20 situations, left, top side, top left corner of this matrix has build related strategies. Build, okay, where you invest. Okay, so you will have strategies like fast grow, act offensively, differentiate, all those things. Now, once you come in the between, in the diagonal between, okay, middle diagonal, you will see light green boxes. These boxes are related to hold strategies, or we can say protect strategies. So you will find find strategies like defend position, okay, defend position, hold niche, okay, focus. These are all defending or holding the positions, holding strategies. Then towards the far right, you will find some harvest strategies, and towards the extreme right bottom corner, you will find divest strategies. So either you divest. What is the meaning of divest? It is an opposite of invest. So in investment, you put in the money. In divestment, you take out the money. So either you divest, take out your money, or you liquidate. You totally close down the company, or close down that particular business, or close down that particular product. Then you have fourth model called as GE model, General Electric model. It is also called as stoplight strategy model. In this model, what happens? On the left side, we plot market attractiveness. On the top side, we plot business position or competitive strength. Now here, instead of having just two variants of low and high, we have three variants, low, medium and high. So market attractiveness can be low, medium and high, and business position or competitive strength also can be low, medium and high. So in this you have 9 situations, but in these 9 situations, what are the strategies you are going to follow? 4 types of strategies. So again the same trick, that is towards the top left you will have build strategies. In the middle diagonal you will have hold strategies. In the far right diagonal you will have harvest strategies, and at the extreme right bottom corner you will have divest strategy. So please remember 4 unique strategies, which is build, hold, harvest, divest. Okay. Then you have, well, so far we have seen portfolio analysis. In portfolio analysis, we have seen 4 models. Now, SWOT analysis. You know very well what is the meaning of SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness, opportunities and threats of a company. When you analyze, you find out, you get to know what is the situation in which the company is there. Accordingly, you take your next steps. So this SWOT analysis can be done for a person, for a company, for an organization, for a group of persons. You can do SWOT analysis. It is a universal concept. You can apply for any entity. SWOT analysis. Then there is something called as one concept called as TOES matrix. If you observe this TOES matrix, it is a reverse of the words SWOT. It is reverse of the word SWOT. See, TOWS is nothing but reverse of SWOT. Now, why is this? See, TOES matrix has been made or designed by an author called as Heinz Weirich. He developed this matrix based on SWOT analysis. So he should not be using the same name and confuse the people. So he put a new name, but the base is still SWOT. So he used the same letters, SWOT in reverse, and made it as a TOES matrix. Now, what is this matrix about? What he does is, instead of keeping strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats inside the boxes, he keeps it outside the box. So on the left side, he plots strengths and weaknesses at the bottom. On the top, he puts opportunities and threats. By doing this, he has 4 empty boxes or 4 empty situations. So when you have 4 empty situations, you can have 4 types of strategic options. How? If you take the combination of strengths and opportunities, you can adopt or design strategies that makes maximum use of your strength to maximize the opportunities. So this we call it as a max strategy. Why it is max strategy? Because we are maximizing the strengths, and we are making maximum use of our strengths, and we are trying to maximize the opportunities. That is the reason. So this is the strategic options for strength and opportunities. For strengths and threats, you can adopt max min strategy, which means you you adopt the strategies which will make maximum use of your strengths and try to minimize the threats. So we call it as a max min strategy. Then you take the combination of weaknesses and opportunities. Even if you don't remember this matrix, you can write it by your own logic. What will you do? You will be minimizing the weaknesses and maximizing the opportunities. So you will follow such strategies, which is min max strategies. And towards the end, if you have weaknesses and threats combination, you will of course follow min strategy only, because you want to minimize the weaknesses and you also want to avoid the threats. So you will follow only those strategies which minimizes weaknesses and minimizes the threats. So min strategy. So you will observe that based on the SWOT analysis, making use of the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats, you arrived at four different strategic options: max-max strategy, maximum strategy, min-max strategy, and min-min strategy. This is a TOS matrix. Hope it is interesting. Then you have a concept of globalization in this chapter, which I don't want to stress more because you are very well aware in this era of technology and the internet. We are all a global citizen. So this is about your chapter number 2, dynamics of competitive strategy. Now let us see chapter number 3, which is about strategic management process. It is a fairly uh, short and sweet chapter. So, what is the meaning of strategic planning? As I told you earlier, the word strategic means crucial, critical, top level, senior level, important, all these terms connected to strategic planning. All these terms are connected to strategic term. So when I say strategic planning, it is the process of determining the objectives of the entire firm, resources required to attain these objectives, and formulation of policies by senior management. So if you observe, senior word has come, entire firm has come, and this becomes critical. So it is strategic planning. It is not normal any planning activity. Okay, this is an interesting concept. Strategic uncertainty. First of all, what is the meaning of uncertainty? Uncertainty means unpredictability, and when that unpredictability is of a important concern or crucial concern, which is critical for your organization, then such uncertainty becomes strategic uncertainty. So when you have some strategic uncertainties, how will you deal with them? You will have to first identify what are all the strategic uncertainties based on external analysis. You will have to find out them. Once you find out all the strategic uncertainties, then you group them into logical clusters. What is the meaning of logical clusters? It is some kind of grouping so that you don't attend to each and every strategic uncertainty separately. You classify or group them into some logical clusters. For example, you say technological uncertainties, financial uncertainties, marketing uncertainties, design uncertainties, customer uncertainties, something like that. You group them into logical clusters. And then you don't attend to all of these groups or clusters together. You will have to attend them one by one. So you prioritize which are important. See, already strategic uncertainty means it is important only. But out of these also you have to prioritize so that you can focus your attention on some of the some of the uncertainties at one point of time. So once you have done the logical clustering and once you have prioritized them, then you do scenario analysis. What is the meaning of scenario analysis? You do scenario analysis means you analyze different scenarios, either positive scenarios or negative scenarios, pessimistic scenarios, and for each of these scenarios, you devise a flexible strategy. It is like making plan A, plan B, and then plan C, so that the future being uncertain, you don't know which scenario will materialize. So once a particular scenario materializes, you will be already prepared because you have already created or crafted flexible strategy for such scenario. See, this is a very important concept because you are not waiting for things to happen and then you react. This is a proactive process of being prepared for any kind of strategic uncertainty. So these are some of the models which actually differentiates strategic management from normal management. So hope you understood the strategic uncertainty concept. Then coming to topic of strategic decision making. What is the meaning of strategic decision making? Strategic decision making means, again, the word strategic is attached, so it means critical, important, entire enterprise level, impacting the entire organization. Such kind of decision making is what we are talking here. So, decision making by itself means choosing a particular course of action out of several alternative available courses of action. So, decision making can either be an operational decision making, which is day to day activity, or it can be a strategic decision making where top management is making the decisions, top management is making the decisions. Huge resources are committed to such decisions. There is a significant impact on the long term prosperity of the firm, and these strategic issues are future oriented. It has multifunctional and multi business consequences, and it requires consideration of various external and internal factors in the environment. If such is the uh, nature of decision making, it is a strategic decision making. So, next, an important concept called as strategic intent. Intent, as you know, it is a short for intention. Now, what do you mean by strategic intention? See, as an organization or as a person or as an entity, you will have your intentions. That is what you want to do. But what you want to do will be analyzed in different levels. Okay. Suppose you are on a what to say ground level. You will be dealing with the ground level realities in in certain trivial manner. But once you go, what to say, 500 feet above the ground, you will be dealing with different kind of uncertainties, and you will have different approach and attitude altogether. Further up you go, you will have different approach altogether. So the thing is, to what level and to what extent you are having the intention and your thinking process. So that is being discussed here. So strategic intent on a very broad level, it is starting with vision, which we already discussed in the definition of strategic management, where we said strategic management is the managerial process of forming a strategic vision, setting objectives, crafting strategies, implementing and executing strategies, and then control. So that vision is the very base of the strategic intent. Vision, to recall, vision means desired future image. Next is mission. Please do not confuse mission with vision. Vision means what? Vision means desired future image. What is the meaning of mission? Mission means it is an answer to the question, why does your business exist in the market? Why does your business exist in the market? If you can answer that question in an attractive, inspiring way, then I will call it as a mission. Suppose if I say, so if I ask a printing press, why are you existing in the market? They should not say that we are existing in the market to print the books and deliver the books. No. Maybe they should say we are there to ensure knowledge reaches every doorstep of this country. That should be their mission. So, attractive purpose which has been defined or determined, that will become the mission. So, that is the next level of intent. First is vision, then mission. Next is business definition. Business definition means it is the answer to the question, what business are you doing or what business do you want to do? That is business definition. Then business model. Business model is the answer to the question, how you are going to do your business. So business definition is what business. Business model means how will you do the business. Then comes goals and objectives. So these are various levels of strategic intent. Vision and mission are at the corporate level. Business definition and business model are at the business level, and goals and objectives are at the operational level. Then strategic management model, there is nothing new. You start with developing vision, mission, and objectives. You perform external analysis and internal analysis. Then you establish or set long-term objectives. Then you may very well be aware and you will be able to recall what is going to come next. Generate and analyze strategies, which is equivalent to crafting strategies. Then implementing strategies. Then evaluation and control. This is what exactly we have already learned in the definition of strategic management. Stages in strategic management also same thing. So this brings us to the end of chapter number 3. Let us go to the chapter number 4. So it is a single slide I will be taking in this particular chapter, and I will cover all the types of grand strategies. That is the uniqueness of this chapter. So we will start with grand strategies. Okay. See, on an overall level, overview, there are 4 types of grand strategies. First is stability. Stability strategy means you continue to do what you have been doing. Don't do anything extra, don't do anything less. It is one kind of strategy where the company doesn't want to take extra risk, or it doesn't want to reduce its activity just for the sake of it. They want to continue to be stable. So this approach is called as stability strategy. Then you have expansion strategy. Expansion strategy means you want to expand your business, you want to expand your branches, you want to add new products to your product line, you want to add new businesses in your company. Expansion. Third is retrenchment. Retrenchment means cutting down. Either you bring down your employees, number of employees in your organization, or you uh, remove some products from the market, or you close down some of your branches. So any activity related to reducing your operations or activities, we call it as a retrenchment strategy. Then combination strategy. So combination means at any point of time a company may not follow one strategy at a time. They may follow one strategy, like stability for one product, expansion for another product, and retrenchment for another set of products. So combination is the order of the day. So stability, expansion, retrenchment, and combination. Expansion again are of different types. Expansion strategy can be in the form of intensification strategy, or it can be diversification strategy, or it can be mergers, it can be acquisitions, or it can be strategic alliance. So intensification, diversification, mergers, acquisitions, and strategic alliance. Intensification can again be of different types. If you remember Igor Ansoff model, we had discussed certain strategies where existing market, new market, existing product, new product, we had discussed what strategies will be adopting. So if there is an existing product in an existing market, what strategy will you adopt? You will adopt market penetration strategy. If you want to bring existing product in a new market, what strategy will you adopt? Market development strategy. If you want to bring new product in an existing market, product development strategy. So in all these situations, if you observe carefully, something is existing. Either market is existing or the product is existing. So when there is some existing strategy, existing market or existing product, okay, then what expansion you are going to do or further expansion you are going to do, it will be called as or classified as intensification strategy. You are intensifying. The meaning of intensifying itself means that something is already at the base of it. Okay, that is intensification strategy. Then you have diversification strategies. What are different diversification strategies? Vertical integration. So suppose there is a raw material supplier, then manufacturer, then below that distributor, stockist, wholesaler, retailer. So that is a vertical chain. Suppose you are a manufacturer and if you go into the raw material supplying business, you get into backward integration. And if you go into uh, go down the vertical chain, you call it as a forward integration. So vertically, you can move up and down and expand your business or products, or you can go horizontally. So when you expand horizontally, we call it as horizontal integration. Then you have concentric diversification. What is the meaning of concentric diversification? When some new business or new product you are launching or producing, but based on the existing technological knowledge or expertise or existing process knowledge or expertise, then we call it as a concentric diversification. Then you have something called as conglomerate diversification. The word conglomerate may sound little uh, complicated, but the concept is very simple. This concept is entering into a totally unrelated product or unrelated business. If you are expanding into an unrelated product or unrelated business, then it is called as conglomerate diversification. Okay. Then you have mergers. In mergers also you have similar types: vertical expansion, vertical mergers, horizontal mergers, constant co-generic mergers, conglomerate mergers. Okay, so these are all expansion types. Coming to retrenchment types, one type is retrenchment itself, that is, you are reducing your employees or branches or products or something you are reducing. Then you have turnaround strategies, which is also covered under retrenchment. So, turnaround means you are cutting down certain operations or activities or products or employees or your infrastructure only to turn around the business and to start making profitability in the company, start making profit in the company. These are turnaround strategies. Then you have divestment strategy where you take out your investments or you sell your stake in the company. Divestment. Liquidation is totally closing down the operations of a particular branch or a particular company. Liquidate, close it. So these are the overall grand strategies. I leave a minute to you for revising. Now, getting into the next half of this subject, we'll get into chapter number 5. Okay. Chapter number 5, we will see two concepts, two important concepts. First is Porter's generic strategies. Now, what do you mean by generic word? The word generic means general or common. So, when we talk about generic strategies, we are going to talk about generally universal strategies. So one strategy according to Porter is cost leadership strategy. That is producing standardized products at a very low cost per unit for consumers who are price sensitive. This, if you remember, we already discussed under the competitive advantage discussion. What is the second type of strategy? Can you recall? The second type of strategy is differentiation strategy. That is producing products and services which are considered unique, industry wide, and directed at consumers who are price insensitive. Okay. So these two concepts we have already seen and understood as part of competitive advantage discussion. Third type of generic strategy which Porter suggests is focus strategy. Now here it simply means that the company may produce some products and services or provide some services that fulfill the needs of a small group of consumers. If that is the case, it is called as focus strategy. Now, instead of going for generic strategies like differentiation or cost leadership or focus strategy, there is another strategy called as best cost product strategy. Now, what is the meaning of this? Now, the meaning of this best cost product strategy is that instead of labeling or branding the customers as price sensitive customers or price insensitive customers, in real life you will not see customers who actually follow such pattern compulsorily or permanently, because customers are very intelligent. They are not purely price sensitive customers, nor are they purely price insensitive customers. They are called as value conscious customers. Hope I am correct. Hope you relate to me. The customers are not price sensitive or insensitive. They are value conscious. So if you give more value for money, you can win the competition. So more value for money is the keyword here. Market emphasis. What should these companies do? These companies should underprice compared to their rival brands and give features which match or which are better than the competitors. How will you sustain this strategy? You can sustain this best cost product strategy if you are able to develop some unique expertise in your company, and also you are able to reduce your cost. You remember in the competitive advantage discussion, I told you some companies may not purely follow cost leadership or purely follow differentiation, they may follow both. So, this is that sustaining of strategy. Product line means what kind of products they should give. They should provide good to excellent attributes and several to many upscale features. Upscale means upgraded high features. Product emphasis, incorporation of upscale features and attributes at low cost. So these are the two important concepts in chapter number 5. Then you have chapter number 6. Chapter number 6 talks about functional strategies. So different functions are there. So each function will be taking up and discussing. But before I discuss different functions, let me clarify that it is only for the sake of syllabus that different functions are being picked up in this particular chapter. So in this chapter, if you see, we will be taking up functions like marketing, uh, research and development, production, logistics, human resources, finance. But in real life, you may have many other functions also in an organization. So if that is the case, it means that these functions, what we are taking up and discussing, are only for the sake of syllabus. Okay, so don't think that this is an exhaustive list of functions. Okay, so you already know there are 3 levels in the organization: corporate level, business level, and functional level. Now we are at the functional level of strategies. So we'll be discussing first marketing strategies. So marketing is a very interesting and very attractive concept. because this is one thing which connects the company and its products and services to the customers. This is how it reaches the customers. What is marketing? The term marketing constitutes different processes, functions, and exchanges and activities that create perceived value by satisfying the needs of individuals. By satisfying the needs of individuals. So it says perceived value, may not be real value. So the advertisements, what we see, the promotions, what we see in the social media, in the television media, or some other places, they are all trying to create a perceived value. Okay. Then there is a author called as Philip Kotler. He says marketing is a social and managerial process by which individuals and groups obtain what they need and want through creating, offering, and exchanging products of value with others. So, what is the meaning of products of value? Products of value means products which are useful. Products also include services. So, products and services which are useful for the people, useful or required by the people for their solutions, for their requirements. Okay. So, when we discuss about marketing, one of the important concepts is marketing mix. What is this marketing mix? See, the marketing mix is a set of factors or set of components which are variable. Variable means you can play with it. You can what do you say, tune it. So when you're able to tune it, these components, when you are able to tune each of these components differently, the response or the result which you get related to marketing will be different. Sometimes it will be a successful result. Sometimes it may not be a favorable result. So, what are these components or what are these factors which we are calling them as a marketing variable? Let us see that. From the marketer's angle, that is from the seller's angle, these variables are product. Product itself is a component of marketing. Price, where you offer discounts, etc. Place, which is convenience for the customer. Promotion, people, physical environment, and process. So if you see, there are 7 variables: product, price, place, promotion, people, physical environment, and process. From the angle of a seller, we are calling these variables like this. If you see from the angle of the customer, product is not a product, it is a solution for the customer. Price is not the price, it is a cost for the customer. Place means it is a convenience for the customer. Promotion means it is an information or communication for the customer. People means it is an interaction for the customer. Physical environment is nothing but the experience or the customer service for the customer. Process means it is not just process, it is a steps involved or the chain of activities for the customer. So if you are able to fine tune these variables, you will be able to get different marketing result. So when you are not able to get favorable result, you know which components you have to fine tune. So these 7 marketing variables are there. Now let us see some of the marketing strategies or marketing techniques. So I will just quickly run through these marketing techniques. First, you have social marketing. Social marketing doesn't mean social media marketing. Here, social marketing means marketing uh, where there is a seeking of acceptability of a social idea or a cause or a practice. For example, now you may all be very well aware of Swachh Bharat Andolan and then clean city, green city. These are all social marketing. Stop smoking. These are all social marketing where a social idea or a social cause or practice is being promoted or marketed. So social marketing. Augmented marketing. Augmented means, the word augmented means something enhanced, something better, something increased. So if you are offering some advanced technology along with the existing service, then it is augmented marketing. Direct marketing. Direct marketing means marketing in which the customer is able to make a direct response. See, generally in the marketing, the customer may not be able to make direct response. He takes his own time and then makes a response towards that particular product or service to buy or not buy. But in these cases, in this strategy, the customer is able to make a direct response. For example, your marketing in your Facebook or in your social feeds, some advertisement comes, you're able to click it and buy something. These are direct marketing. Relationship marketing. Relationship marketing means uh, it is an approach where you are trying to create binding relationship with the customer. How? Some techniques are already very popular, like reward points. So some companies offer reward points when you purchase from them, some shops or some supermarkets. It is all a concept of relationship marketing. They try to create a binding relation or lasting relation with the customer. Because if they have such schemes, reward points and membership points, etc., you will always try to give first preference for shopping with them because you want to accumulate points. This is one way of relationship marketing. Then services marketing. Services marketing actually is a concept of marketing which is applied to services. Generally, marketing means we talk about products, but even for services also, marketing can be adopted. Then person marketing. So when the subject matter of a marketing activity is a person, for example, the politicians or the actors, then we call it as a person marketing. When the subject matter of the marketing activity is an organization, sometimes the companies don't market products or services, but they market themselves as a company. Then we call it as a organization marketing. Then sometimes you may adopt a marketing strategy where the subject matter of the marketing is a place. For example, some tourism places. Nowadays, some states are coming up with tourism marketing, some uh, shopping center marketing. So you call them as a place marketing. Okay, this is very interesting. Enlightened marketing. Now, enlightened marketing means it is a marketing approach with some principles in mind. It is a marketing approach with some principles or some philosophies. Now, what are these principles? If you follow these five principles, you are said to be following enlightened marketing. Let us see what is that. First principle, it should be customer oriented marketing. Means customer should be the center of your marketing campaign. It should be innovative marketing. Second. Third, it should offer some value in the marketing value. Then fourth, sense of mission marketing. What is the meaning of sense of mission? The concept sense of mission means to keep the focus on result, keep the focus on the purpose. If you are not achieving your purpose by doing the marketing, that means you have lost the sense of mission. So you have to focus on the purpose for which you're doing marketing. That is called a sense of mission marketing. And then your marketing should also be socially relevant. It is called a societal marketing principle. So once you follow these five principles, it is called as enlightened marketing. Then you have differential marketing. Differential marketing means you devise different approaches for different segments of the market. Synchro marketing means you want to synchronize the sales over a year, over different months, even in such months where the season is not there. So it is called a synchro marketing. Concentrated marketing means when you want to go after a one segment of a market, and then you want to what do you say, try to get more share in that particular segment of market, you are called as, you are said to be following a concentrated marketing approach. Then you, last but not the least, you have demarketing. Demarketing means what? See, generally we do marketing for what purpose? To get more customers. In certain cases, in certain situations, what can happen is you may not require, or you are not able to serve more customers, so you want to discourage the customers from coming to you. There can be such situations. For example, you don't have stock, or for example, you don't have time to attend to more customers. In such situations, what happens is the supply with you is limited, but the demand is more. What you can do? Either you can say a strict no to your customers, or indirectly, diplomatically, you adopt some approach where customers are automatically discouraged from coming to you. So such approach is called as demarketing. A simple example is that, when you go for some shopping complexes on Sunday, when you go and do the parking cost will be double or even triple times, three times of the normal cost when you do parking on a weekday. So why is that so? It is for the reason that they want to discourage the customers from coming and paying parking charges on a weekend like a Sunday, and pay more charges. They want to discourage the customers from coming. Still, customers will come, but there may be some customers who are very cost conscious, and they may try to schedule their purchase in such a way that they come on a weekday and avoid some unnecessary expenses. That is a demarketing approach. So it is not that you want to permanently stop your customers. No, you're just trying to discourage the demand on certain times temporarily because you are not able to serve them. That is the only reason. So we have seen marketing strategy. Under marketing strategy, we saw what is marketing, we saw marketing mix, and then we saw different types of marketing strategies. Let us see finance related strategies. So finance related strategies, you are all chartered accountants, you know very well. It can relate to either procurement of funds or management or usage of funds, preparation and analysis of projected financial statements, budgets, and evaluating the worth of business. So these can be the various areas of strategic decisions in a finance function. So since you are all finance professionals, uh, I don't want to stress more on these points. I'll go to next next functional area called as production. So production, when you talk, you can have one area of strategic decision of production systems strategy. Now, what is the meaning of production systems strategy? This area is concerned with the capacity of the production of your company, location of your factory, layout, what kind of work system are you going to implement, what level of automation you want to implement in your factory. These kind of decisions, when you are going to take, these are all production systems strategy decisions. Production systems strategy decisions. These kind of decisions are not taken every day. These are all having long term impact. So on one side you have production system strategy decisions in production. On the other side, you have operational planning and control strategies. When you say operational planning and control, please remember, whenever I use the word operational, please remember day to day. So operational planning means day to day planning. So on a day to day basis, for production related activities, what decisions, what strategies you will be taking or doing? Something related to inventory, something related to quality control, something related to production planning, maintenance of your machineries. These are all day to day activities. So we call them as operational planning and control strategies. So production relates to these areas. Then coming to logistics, it is a area of functional strategies where it is related to movement of the goods. So when you talk about logistics management, you also talk about supply chain management system, which is a very wider concept and it is a tool of business transformation. Okay. So when you talk about logistics, it means movement of goods from one place to another. But when you talk about supply chain management system, it means delivering the right materials at the right place, at the right quantity, in the right quality, at the right cost, at the right time, everything being right. So it is a very, how do you say, detailed work which you will have to do if you want to adopt strategic management with regard to supply chain management system, because it is just not logistics. You'll have to collaborate with the different divisions, different departments, and then only you can achieve a good supply chain management system. Coming to research and development. So research and development means creating something new. So when we are talking about something new, why is that some companies do research and development and some companies do not do research and development? What could be the reasons? Let us see. So when you talk about research and development, we discuss research and development in three angles. So one angle is called as objectives, means why you want to do research and development. The second angle is constraints. What is stopping you from doing research and development? The third is tasks, which means while you're doing research and development, what are the activities you should follow? Come to objectives. It can be for developing new products, concentric diversification. It can be for substantially improving your old products, that is product development. It can be for maintaining the product features but saving the cost for production. That is for the approach of cost leadership. Or it can be to achieve differentiation. That means you want to incorporate some special unique features in your product. So it can be for differentiation purpose. See, R&D purpose can be these things: concentric diversification, or product development, or cost leadership, or differentiation. Now coming to constraints, having known why you want to do R&D, what is stopping you from doing R&D? It can be either lack of money, that is lack of funds, lack of people, lack of motivation, lack of time, and sometimes lack of top management support. What are the tasks? The task is to transfer complex technology into business propositions. That is, when you are doing research and development, what is the activities? What are the activities you have to ensure? You have to ensure that you have to transfer the complex technology which you used for doing research and development into business propositions, that is commercially viable. Then adjusting the processes to local raw materials, adapting the processes to local markets, altering the products to customer taste and specifications, and then providing a basis for innovation. Your research and development should not be the end of the story. Your research and development should lead to some breakthrough in the technology or in the process that it leads to further innovation. So that should be the idea. So once it is clear that you know why you want to do R&D or what was stopping you from doing R&D, so now you are able to surpass it, and what activities you want to consider for doing R&D. Let us see whether we should do R&D in-house or whether we should contract it. Means give it to outside contractors. To analyze this decision making, we will need a matrix. On one side, let us plot technological changes, slow, moderate, and fast. On the other side, we will plot market growth, slow, moderate, and fast. So if you see here, You have three variations on the left side for market growth, three variations for technological changes. Totally, you have 9 variations. But we will not analyze 9 variations, we will analyze only 4 variations. How? So, first situation is the market growth rate is moderate and technological changes are slow. First situation. What will you do? Since your technological changes are slow, you have good time to adapt to the new technology. So you will do in-house R&D in the first situation. In the second situation, technology is moving very fast and market is at a moderate growth rate. You may not have time to adapt to technology, but you may go for external contracting. You may contract it to some external consultants, or you may do in-house R&D, but it should not be aggressive. In-house R&D means doing the R&D with your own employees, with your own team members. Third, in the third situation, market is growing at a very fast pace, but technology is moving slow. Even though technology is moving slow, it may not be advisable to do in-house R&D. The reason is, as a company, business growth and utilizing the business opportunity is the first preference, first priority always. So in the third situation, you may not do in-house R&D. You may obtain R&D expertise from outside firm. And when you obtain R&D expertise from outside firm, it can be on an exclusive basis or non-exclusive basis. What is the meaning of this? Exclusive basis means you are telling to an outside entity which does R&D that you do the R&D and give it only to me. That is exclusive basis. If I say you do the R&D and you may give that R, you can share that result with any other company which is approaching you also, then that means I am getting R&D on a non-exclusive basis. Now you have to decide based on your budgets and based on the criticality of the project whether you want exclusive R&D from the outside firm or you want a non-exclusive R&D to be done by the outside firm. Now what will happen in the fourth situation? Market is also growing at a fast pace. Technology is also moving at a fast pace. Here what we will do is, here we will not even do in-house R&D, not even do any R&D. We will acquire a well-established firm in the industry. Here we will acquire a well-established firm in the industry. So this is almost like equal to buying R&D instead of doing R&D. So these are the different strategic options while you are deciding whether to do R&D in-house or whether to do R&D from outside. Now, once you decide you want to do R&D, there can be three approaches of doing R&D. Either you take the lead and you take the risk and you do the R&D, or you wait and watch for a top company or a bigger company in your industry to do the R&D, become successful, and then you try to imitate such technology or imitate such process. So that is a follower approach, or it can be a approach of low cost producer where you put substantial investment and you try to do mass production with that particular technological breakthrough. Then you have human resource strategy, human resource function. So human resource function, we can also talk about strategic human resource management, which is linking the human resource activity along with the company's strategic goals and objectives. Now, this is done to improve the business performance and develop a overall good organizational culture. So, when you talk about human resource function, it is very important to ensure that you are following strategic human resource management. Now, in human resource function, generally three types of practices are being followed or adopted. One is pre-selection related practices, then selection practices, and then post-selection practices. Pre-selection includes HR planning and job analysis. That is before selecting the employees. Selection practices includes staffing, which is the actual process of recruitment. Post selection, you have already onboarded the employees. Now, what activities or functions you have to do? You can do job enrichment. That means if the people's job is becoming monotonous and boring, you can try to give them some good challenging tasks, so it makes their job enriched. Job enrichment. You can adopt practices of job satisfaction. You can adopt practices of job enlargement. You can increase the scope of their work, so it is called as job enlargement. Training and development, performance appraisal, motivation, all these are activities which comes under the human resource function. So if you see in this chapter, chapter number 6, we have covered some functions like marketing, finance, production, logistics, research and development, and human resources. So these are all the discussions which was related to formulation of functional strategies. Now let us see next chapter, chapter number 7. Chapter number 7 broadly talks about two things. One part is organization structures, other part is leadership concepts. Let us see first organization structures. Now, organization structures can be of different types. Let us start from simple structure. Simple structure means it is actually very simple structure. This is how it looks. There is an owner cum manager and there are employees to assist this owner cum manager. This is in fact a very simple structure. So what happens in this type of organization structure? In a typical very small proprietorship type of organization, you can observe this kind of structure. What will happen? Is there a scope of growth in this particular type of organization structure? No. So some disadvantages are definitely there in this structure because they cannot scale up. There will be a lot of pressure on the owner cum manager, and the quality of their work may not be also to the highest standards. Now, what are the advantages of this structure? If there is a very small organization at a very small scale they are operating, they can in fact use this structure and ensure that the processes are very fast and robust. They can ensure that they are giving personalized service and personalized attention to the customers, and the employees here will have access to variety of activities. They will not be restricted to any particular department. So these are all some advantages also. But in effect, if you see, it is not good for the organization because they will not be able to scale up. So what to do? So first, very simple structure. Second, they can think of functional structure. Just now we discussed about functional strategies, no? So functional structure means you are dividing the organization into different functions, different departments based on the functions which they carry out. Like you create a manufacturing team which does only manufacturing activities. You have HR team which does only HR related activities. You have one purchasing team which does only purchasing activities. Marketing team only marketing activities. So like this, if you divide the company, it is a very good example of division of work or division of labor. And this also leads to good expertise in their particular function. If a marketing team is there, they will become expert in marketing over a period. Why? Because they are only focusing on the marketing activities. They are not getting involved in manufacturing or purchase or customer care. Similarly, purchasing team or purchasing department will become expert in the purchasing activities only. So division of work and expertise will be developed. But here also there is not much better, much bigger scope of growth. So the company can think of next level of organization structure called as divisional structure, or we can also call it as a multi-divisional structure. Now, what is divisional structure? We already saw. If you remember the organization levels when we discussed initially, I think in the first chapter, so there we had seen corporate level, business level, and functional level. So if you have these three levels in an organization, they are said to be following divisional structure or multi-divisional structure. Then you have something called as SBU structure. See, SBU stands for Strategic Business Unit. If there is a business division or business unit for which you develop exclusive set of strategies, just like how you develop strategies or craft strategies for a company, you craft strategies for this business unit, then we will call that business unit as a strategic business unit, SBU. In practical terms, we can say that it is an exclusive company within a bigger company. So how it will happen? One SBU can have multiple divisions under it, and each division may have its own functional classification, and each function may have its own set of employees. So, like this, an SBU will be there, and for each SBU, there will be a separate set of planning process, strategy process, everything. So, we call it as a strategic business unit. So if it is a very multi-large corporation having presence over different countries, they may in fact follow SBU structure only, because any other structure will not be feasible for them or may not be favorable for their growth. So SBU structure is also highly prevalent in case of very large organizations. Now coming to a unique kind of organization structure called as matrix structure. Matrix structure, what happens is this structure is not suitable for all types of organizations. In fact, it is suitable for only those kind of organizations where there is a uh, there is a system of project based activities or project based deliverables. Suppose you take a real estate developer company where it develops different apartments and different shopping complexes, and it delivers. So when that is the case, if one project is going on, they will loop in the employees of different departments, and they will involve all those people in their project. Once this project is over, they'll again release them for other projects. So this is how matrix structure is created. There is a CEO. Under them, under the CEO, there is a division called as VP projects or Vice President projects. So projects division is there, manufacturing division is there, sales division or sales function is there, finance function is there, HR team is there, HR department. Under each of these divisions, they'll have different sub teams. So projects division may have project manager 1, project manager 2, project manager 3. Each manager taking care of a separate project. There may be a manufacturing unit 1, manufacturing unit 2, manufacturing unit 3. These units or these teams directly report to the manufacturing head. Similarly, sales head will be supervising sales unit 1, sales unit 2, sales unit 3. Finance unit 1, finance unit 2, finance unit 3. HR unit 1, HR unit 2. Now, when the project 1 is going on, What will the project manager 1 do? As I told you, he will loop in manufacturing unit 1 under himself. He will loop in sales unit 1 under himself, and he will take control of finance unit 1 and HR unit 1. Now, this is how project 1 will be going on, where project manager 1 now also has the control of different teams under different functions. Now, project manager 2 also does the same thing. He also takes in the control of manufacturing unit 2, sales unit 2, finance unit 2, and HR unit 2. Project manager 3 takes care of different units. Now, if you observe now, this has created a type of matrix. What has happened is, if you observe the vertical lines, those are solid lines. Why? Because those are permanent uh, lines of reporting. Now, if you observe in this structure, because the project 1 is going on, project manager 1 has taken control of each division, each team under different divisions. So these are the horizontal lines are dotted lines, which means once the project 1 is completed, the dotted lines will get vanished and the teams will be released and they may form part of new project. Okay, so that is the reason the horizontal lines are dotted lines, which means not permanent lines. Generally, if someone is following market matrix structure, the horizontal lines will be dotted lines or non-permanent lines only. But there is a possibility that matrix structure can also be a mature matrix structure, where even the horizontal lines are permanent lines. So this is the matrix structure for uh, adaptation by certain unique kinds of companies only. Not all organizations can adopt this. If you also observe, one team is now reporting to two sets of super bosses. One is the functional boss, another one is the project boss. So, this is actually a violation of a management principle called as unity of command. In management, we have a principle of unity of command. That means one person should be ideally reporting to only one super boss. But here, what is happening? Each team is reporting to two bosses. One is the project related boss, another one is the functional boss. Of course, it is a violation of unity of command principle, but this is how the matrix structure is developed, and this is how it also works further. Okay, just to ensure the compliance with the principle, you cannot disregard this particular structure. It is a very useful structure. Then you have network structure, where actually there is no network, no structure, where the company, the people are connected with each other through some linked systems, through virtual systems. They are collaborating with each other. Then there is a concept of hourglass structure, where the structure of the organization chart is in the form of a hourglass. So if you see hourglass, it will be narrow in the middle, wide at the top, and wide at the bottom. Now, why is this so? And how is this possible? It is only possible if you recruit managers who are multi talented and who can handle cross functional issues. For example, if you hire a manager from, uh, if you hire a marketing manager who is a marketing MBA, who is an MBA along with finance specialization, then he can handle even marketing also, he can handle finance also. Something like that, you can recruit some people or managers who have expertise in technology also and production also. So he can handle IT also, he can handle production also. So if you recruit such managers who has cross functional specializations, then you can have a very narrow middle management thereby reduce the management cost also, and this will result in a wider top senior management and wider functional management, which will create a structure of hourglass. So this is hourglass structure. Coming to leadership and strategic implementation, second part of this chapter, chapter number 7. So why are we talking about leadership? We are talking about leadership because managers are in a form a leader. In a way, they are the leaders. So when we talk about leaders, we should also talk about what kind of leadership styles or what kind of leadership roles they take up. So generally, the leaders take up the roles of closely monitoring, that is troubleshooting, that is solving the problems, promoting team spirit. They should be alert for new opportunities and innovative ideas. They should not only focus on the work and their targets, but also they should exercise ethics, corrective actions. Leadership styles can be two styles. Leadership styles can be of two types. One, transformational leadership, which is strategic in nature. Another is transactional leadership, which is managerial or operational in nature. Then you have a concept of strategy supportive corporate culture. See, any organization consists of peoples. And when you have people, you automatically have a culture. What do you mean by culture? Values, behavior, principles, practices, nature of or behavior or the attitude of the people, what kind of customs or principles they follow. So these are the culture. When the people are involved and when the culture is involved, there is no guarantee that their culture will suit the strategy which you are making or which you are crafting. There is no guarantee because people are people. Their culture may not suit your strategy, or your strategy may not suit their culture. So, what happens? You have to ensure that there is a strategy supportive corporate culture. How? How to troubleshoot? So, you can either revamp the strategy so that it matches with the culture of the people, or you have to revamp the culture so that it matches with the strategy. You can diagnose, you can check, analyze, and find out what is the present facets of the culture which are non-supportive and try to address those areas. You can communicate the basis and the need for adhering to the strategies. You can follow with visible and aggressive actions. You can revise the policies and procedures so that there is a change in the culture. You can give some incentive schemes. You can give some incentives to your employees, bring in some incentive schemes so that they are motivated to follow strategies. You can adopt carrot and sticks approach. Carrot and sticks approach means you give carrot means rewards for adhering to strategies, and you give sticks, that is either punishment or penalizing or not giving promotions for not adhering to the strategies. So carrots means rewards, sticks means punishments. Not literal punishments, but form of punishment. So you can follow carrot and sticks, or you can recruit new workforce. If the old workforce is not adhering to the strategies, even in spite of all these uh, corrective actions, you can recruit new workforce itself, and then you can enlist the support. So in this chapter number 7, we have discussed one part related to the organization structures and the second part related to the leadership roles and styles. Next, let us see the last chapter, chapter number 8. Now, there is a very simple question that whether strategy formulation is enough. See, so far we have been discussing corporate strategy, business level strategy, functional level strategy, organization structures, etc. Whether strategy formulation is enough? The answer is, of course, no. So whether strategy formulation is the end? Of course, no. It has to be implemented also. So thought is equal to formulation and action is equal to implementation. So what is this relationship between formulation and implementation? That we can understand by some concepts. Let us see the first concept. This concept is called as secret of success matrix. So in this concept, the secret of success is identified in a particular situation. What is that situation? So in this chart, you have strategy formulation on the left side, which can be either flawed or it can be sound. Flawed means defective. Sound means very nicely crafted strategy, sound strategy or flawed strategy. At the same time, implementation either it can be weak or excellent. Now you have four situations. Now you guess what is the secret of success in this? Obviously, the answer is in front of us. The secret of success lies in the fourth combination, which is sound strategy formulation and excellent strategy implementation. All other situations, you will not achieve success. So, fourth situation, you will definitely achieve success. So, this is called as the relationship between formulation and implementation, which we are understanding by way of concept of secret of success matrix. Let us see the concept number 2. Concept number 2 means is related to the concept of efficiency and effectiveness. Now, if we understand these two concepts, then we can understand the chart also. So let us put on the chart. On the left side, we have strategic management, which can be either ineffective or effective. On the bottom side, we have operational management, which can be either inefficient or efficient. Okay. So strategic management can be either ineffective or effective. Operational management can be either inefficient or efficient. What is the meaning of effectiveness and what is the meaning of efficiency? Suppose you are sitting in your room and if you see your ceiling and by all possibilities there is a fan running or there is an AC running, isn't it? If that is the case, if the fan is running and if the fan is giving you the air, if the AC is running and it is making the room cool, then we will say these are effective. That means they are solving the purpose for which they are there. Effective. That means they are giving you result. Fine. So if they are giving the results, it is called as effective. If they are not giving the results for which they are intended for, we will say they are not effective. Okay. Then what is the meaning of efficiency? Now the same fan, if it is making more noise, we will say it is inefficient. If the same fan is consuming more electricity, we will say inefficient. So like this, even for AC, we will say if it is consuming more electricity and it is making noise, it is taking more time to cool the room, we will say it is inefficient. But it is effective. It is effective, but it is inefficient. So this is the concept of effectiveness and efficiency. Now, in the context of strategic management and operational management, effectiveness is always associated with strategic management, and efficiency is always associated with operational management. What is the meaning of operational? Day to day. Okay. Now, what is the relationship here? There are four situations. You tell me which situation is the most ideal situation. The answer is, of course, fourth situation, because in the four situations, strategic management is also effective and operational management is also efficient. In all other cases, the company or the organization will not achieve success. In fact, in the first situation, firm dies quickly. Second situation, firm dies slowly. Third situation, firm somehow survives. But fourth situation is the most ideal situation where the firm, the company not only thrives and succeeds, not only thrives, it also succeeds in its mission. So strategic management should be effective and operational management should be efficient. Concept number three, to understand the relationship between formulation and implementation, it is called as forward and backward linkage. See, this forward and backward linkage, the relationship is defined by influence. What is influencing what? If strategy formulation influences strategy implementation, we call it as forward linkage. If strategy implementation influences strategy formulation, we call it as a backward linkage. So, what is influencing what is the question here. And concept number four is simple differences and comparison between these two things, formulation and implementation. So, the relationship is understood. Then, what is the next concept? The next concept relates to strategic change. So, when we talk about change, it is always an uncomfortable uh, process. Many people by default are resistant to change, but then how to go about implementing or operationalizing or normalizing a change in the organization? So, when there are changes in the environmental forces, technology, economy, or anything, it leads to changes in the existing strategy, or it leads us to bring out new strategies. How to deal with these changes? So, there is a general approach where first you recognize the need for change, you do a SWOT analysis, then you create a shared vision to manage the change, and then you institutionalize the change. That is, you implement the change forever. That is, at least for a reasonable period of time. This is a general approach for initiating strategic change. There is another approach called as Kurt Lewin's method for strategic change. He says, first you unfreeze the situation. That means you demystify what is the situation. Then you change to the new situation. That is, you transform the processes, you change the systems, you change the methods, then you do the compliance with the new process, okay, new changes, institutionalize, and then you refreeze. That means you continue to maintain the new situation, normalize. So unfreeze the situation, change to new situation, and refreeze the situation. This approach is called as Kurt Lewin's method of initiating strategic change. So, as a concept, strategic change is also very important to be understood. Then let us see what is strategic control. Strategic control is actually a top level control. In fact, you can study this or analyze this in contrast with management control and operational control. So earlier also I have told you strategic means very critical, top level, senior level, and it is something which affects the total enterprise. So strategic control when you talk, or in fact any control mechanism when you talk, you are actually talking about two things. First thing is whether the process is the same as you wanted, whether you are following the process as you wanted. That means whether the steps you are following is as planned, and second, whether the results you are getting is as planned. So if you cover these two things, you are set to exercise strategic control or any kind of control. So how to carry out strategic control activity? You can do it in four ways. First is premises control. What is the meaning of premises? Premises means the basis on which you have uh, crafted the strategy, whether those bases still stand valid. You check that. That is called as premises control. That means you keep on validating the basis, whether it is still valid or not. Second is strategic surveillance, means on a generalized basis you keep monitoring wherever there is a information which is relevant for you or wherever there is a issue. Special alert control. Sometimes unexpected events may be there which will force you to reconsider the strategy. So you may have already created a particular crisis management team which will take care of this special alert. So that is one type of control, special alert control. And then implementation control, checking whether the process is being followed and checking whether the milestones are being achieved. So four approaches for strategy control: premises control, strategic surveillance, special alert control, and implementation control. So next we lead to strategy audit. So like strategy control, you also have strategy audit where three important activities are being done. First, to check or examine the underlying basis of the firm's strategy. On what basis, on what premises the firm's strategy was made, what kind of information and analysis was undergone to craft the strategy. That you examine. That is one activity of the strategy audit. Second activity is you compare the expected results with the actual results. So if you have not achieved actual results, you try to investigate and you try to not actually investigate, you try to find out the reasons. Third activity is take corrective action to ensure performance conforms to the plans. So you prepare a audit report where you bring out the observations and also give recommended actions for conforming to the expected plans or expected performance. So strategy audit can be done. Next, BPR. This is very popularly known as business process re-engineering. Now, what is the meaning of business process re-engineering? Every business has a set of processes, and based on that processes, that company achieves good results or it may not achieve good results. So, at the base of every result is the process, isn't it? At the base of every outcome is the process which you follow. Now, what happens is when you implement sophisticated systems, when you implement sophisticated softwares or high standard softwares and high standard expectations are there, you cannot be continuing to use old, outdated, and rudimentary processes. You will have to upgrade them. You will have to re-engineer them. So that activity is called as that project is called as business process re-engineering. It is like you had a Maruti 800 and you have now bought a Mercedes Benz. You cannot keep driving the new Mercedes Benz like you had been driving Maruti 800 car. You'll have to change your process. You'll have to re-engineer the way you drive. Same analogy applies to your business processes also. So how you go about it? It is a approach of unusual improvement. See, by doing business process re-engineering, we are not expecting normal improvement in the output or results. We are expecting unusual improvement. So how to do this BPR activity? You can do the BPR activity in the following steps. Number one, determine the objectives. Why you want to do BPR? What is the result you want to get? What is your intention? And what is the framework? Means how you are going to approach this. Second, identify the customers and determine their needs. Because see, ultimately, your business process should lead to satisfaction of your customers' expectations. Only then your business will grow. Business means customers, and business growth will come only if your customers are satisfied and your customers' requirements are met. So identify that. Then, before re-engineering any process, first you study the existing process. Only if you study and analyze the existing process, you will find out what deficiencies are there, what improvements can be done, what is wrong, or what is not wrong. Sometimes it can be that the processes are good enough. So, first activity is to study the existing process and then come up with a formulation of redesigning of the process. Once you redesign the process, implement the redesign. So in these 5 steps, you can approach a BPR project, business process re-engineering project. So in the companies, in bigger companies, generally they take up such kind of projects. It may range from 6 months to 12 months to 15 months, 18 months also sometimes to carry out this BPR project. Last but not the least concept we will understand or discuss is benchmarking. Now, what is the meaning of benchmarking? See, benchmark, we know. Benchmark means setting standards, setting high standards, in fact. So, benchmarking means what? Benchmarking doesn't mean setting high standards. Benchmarking, in simple terms, means comparison. Again, I'll repeat. Benchmarking in simple terms means comparison. Comparison with what? Question mark. Comparison with best standards, comparison with best processes, comparison with best companies. So if you compare your processes, your results, your approach, your standards with best standards or best performance standards, then what you are doing is doing benchmarking. So how to go about it? First, similar to BPR, here also in benchmarking, you first identify why you want to do benchmark. Clearly understand the existing decision process. In BPR, we studied existing process. In business, in benchmarking, we will study existing decision processes. Here also, we will study existing decision processes. Third, now you identify what are the best processes. First, you studied what is the existing processes. Now you are taking and identifying best processes. Then only you will be able to compare. So do the comparison of own process and performance with that of the others. Once you do the comparison, there will be clear, evident aspects which are lacking in your company, in your process, in your approaches. Then you prepare a report and implement the steps necessary to close this performance gap. In this manner, you will be able to do benchmarking. And once you prepare the report and try to implement the steps, you will have to not stop. You will have to evaluate whether the purpose for which you did benchmarking is achieved, whether you are able to improve your processes and their outputs, whether you are able to achieve the high standards which you expected. That evaluation is very important. So benchmarking covers these 6 activities. So hope you uh, enjoyed this marathon revision recall session. Definitely, it was a very exhaustive activity for me, but I really enjoyed this because I know for very sure assurance for myself that this is going to help many of you students in doing this fast track revision. Of course, I know many students will be pausing and playing it very well. You follow your approach. Sometimes you may slow down the video also if you like, so that you can capture more of the screen and more of my discussion. So all the best, my dear students. I hope this rapid revision, this marathon revision is really helpful for you and in your exams and in your revision. So thanks a lot, my dear students. Thanks a lot, SICASA, for giving this opportunity and helping the students get the benefit out of this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I want to express my sincere gratitude since you hosted this special revision for us. Thank you for
Thank you.
going above and beyond to support us in our academic endeavors. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. All the best.